Hello guys, welcome back to another video. So we are going to be taking a look at the V12 BMW 760 Ally today, because about a little over a month ago, I took it for an MOT, an inspection, which is kind of a yearly thing here in the UK, and it had an advisory that there was a slight oil leak, but it was not excessive. Now, I haven't really noticed the oil level going down too much. I did service the engine about 1,000 miles ago or so, maybe 2,000 miles ago now, because I have put a few miles on the car since I've got it. But yeah, it does appear that we do have some sort of leak. I have looked under the, on the bottom of the under tray, and it is pretty wet there. Now, is it engine oil? Is it power steering fluid? Because I'm pretty sure that the front anti-roll bar, which is a what's it called, dynamic drive anti-roll bar, that is powered with power steering fluid, and yeah, I think that may be leaking slightly. But yeah, the leak that was on the MOT, on the inspection, is that engine oil or is that power steering fluid? Today hopefully we're going to find out. So let's get outside and let's get cracking. Okay then, so as you can see, I have the V12 BMW 760 Ally up in the air on some ramps. I've already went ahead and removed the under tray. As you can see, the under tray is a bit wet, and I have already cleaned this once before, so it is, definite that we do have a leak. So let's go ahead, take a look underneath. Here's how we're looking. So this thing here, this is the anti-roll bar, the dynamic drive anti-roll bar. As we can see, this is all pretty wet. I don't know if that is power steering fluid, like CHF 11S, or engine oil. We have a look here. Looks pretty wet around this area. Of course, it's covered the subframe as well, this side of the subframe. I think I know where this is coming from. As we can see, it kind of looks like it originates up here. Now this is the power steering pump. It's kind of like a tandem pump, because it works the power steering and also the dynamic drive as well. But I don't think it's power steering fluid that's leaking from here. We could have a power steering fluid leak from the anti-roll bar, but I think up here, I think that's engine oil. And I was hoping it wouldn't be this, but I do believe that it is the seal for the alternator bracket. So the alternator is here. This is a water-cooled alternator, and it basically sits on a bracket on the engine, and there is a small rubber seal, or a gasket I suppose it is, that basically keeps oil from leaving the engine, and it's a big job. But I think that's our issue here. It is quite a common problem. The seal, the gasket, does get quite brittle, and yeah, I think that's what our issue is. So it's going to be a very, very big job if that is the case. But that's exactly where it looks like it's coming from, and like I said, it's a common problem on the N73 and N62 engine. They both suffer from this leak. It's a poor design, really. I don't know why you'd put a gasket for a bracket that holds the alternator in place, but yeah, it is what it is. I think that more than likely does need replacing. So that's the oil leak then. I'm pretty sure that is our oil leak. But let's pay some attention to the anti-roll bar, because I think this does have some green power steering fluid on. Now, originally, when I first bought this car, I thought that we was having a leak from this seal here, and I guess we still could. That's very much a possibility. And from this seal here, and there is like really no replacement for this. You have to just remove the anti-roll bar and try and repair it yourself, or just get a brand new unit. But have a look.
like we could definitely have a leak here, to be honest. I'm just trying to be hopeful that it's not that, but yeah, I think I will plan on removing the anti-roll bar anyway. But this little vent valve here to release pressure, could that be loose as well? Because that kind of seems like it's wet around that. And this hose that goes into it, yeah, that's loose. So that's definitely not good. See if the other one's loose. Yeah, the other one's a bit loose as well. Is that supposed to be like that? Wouldn't have thought so. So I just thought I would remove these vent valves themselves and the brass fittings. Can't really see anything too much wrong with them. I will give them a clean up and then reinstall them, make sure they're nice and tight in there. But yeah, I don't really know how these can leak. I know there is an O-ring on here, but you know, if it's tightened down enough then it shouldn't really leak. But yeah, I will give this a clean up anyway, get it reinstalled and make sure that it is properly tight. But if it's not leaking from these, then it must be leaking from this seal here, which, like I said, it's not repairable really. The only real way to do it is to completely just remove this and then sort of glue it back on, which, like I said, I will more than likely do at some point. But yeah, let's start with the easy stuff first. There we are then, that's both of the vent valves reinstalled. I'm guessing there is a torque value for these, but I've just done them pretty tight, so yeah, they shouldn't be leaking now. If there is, then it's more than likely that O-ring is bad. But yeah, I think if the anti-roll bar is leaking, I think it's more than likely from this seal here, which we will be tackling at some point anyway. Yeah, I've just dried everything off, started the engine up, and we can see fresh oil running down there. It's definitely our oil leak. That seal between the alternator bracket and the engine. Confirmed right there.
Okay then, so with the V12 BMW 760 Li, is it good news or is it bad news? I'm going to have to say bad news. I know we only have a relatively small leak, but it's a big job to fix, and it's definitely going to be something that I am going to fix. I can't own a car and just have a constant leak. If there's a leak, I'm going to fix it, so I need to tackle the issue head on. Like I said, it's a big job. It's going to require a good amount of time to get the job done. I'm probably going to have to buy some more tools as well. I believe the engine has to be raised up. You have to remove like an engine mount and then the alternator and pretty much one side of the engine completely, just to gain access to this very, very cheap gasket. But yeah, I'm guessing it's probably never been replaced. Like I said, it is a common problem on these engines. The car has covered 147,000 miles, so it's probably due to be replaced anyway. It's probably, you know, as hard and as brittle as, you know, plastic now, so it's probably doing next to nothing, that seal. So yeah, it's something that we're going to have to tackle head on pretty much. With regards to the power steering fluid leak or the anti-roll bar leak, it's pretty inconclusive at the moment. Whether or not those vent valves were leaking or not, I don't know. Obviously I've removed everything, give everything a good clean, reinstalled it, retightened it and everything, so those shouldn't be leaking in theory. Now whether or not the anti-roll bar itself is leaking, I don't know, but like I said, at some point I will be completely removing that anyway, giving everything a bit of a refurbish, and then going from there, because we still are not we're still not at the bottom of our dynamic drive failure issue yet. Of course, pretty much as soon as we go around a corner, we have dynamic drive failure pop up on the dash, and I'm still not really sure why we're getting that issue. I have read the fault codes, and it pretty much comes up like what is it, pressure build up on the front axle, and I think there's like pressure build up on the rear axle as well. So could it be one of the pressure sensors? I don't know. Could it be the fact that we have a leak? I don't know. Could it just need the fluid reservoir and a good power steering flush? I don't know, but we are going to get there eventually. This is a long-term project anyway, so I know it's not going to be fixed, you know, anytime soon. But hopefully, when the weather gets slightly warmer and the days get slightly longer, because I literally go outside, start filming, and then like within an hour it starts to get dark. So yeah, it's really not ideal at the moment, but it is what it is. We have to work with what we have, and hopefully you guys can appreciate that. But yeah, I'm going to leave this one here. You know, it just goes to show we have a lot more problems than what we initially thought with the 760 Li, but we are going to keep going. We're going to tick them off one by one and get there in the end. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all in that next one. Peace.